Hi all. So I hope everyone is doing well, and so let's start the community call now. So I'm Kasun Tennapon from WSO2 API Manager team, and in today's call, we will be discussing on how to do the advanced customization on WSO2 API Manager portals. So let's get started. So here is our agenda for today's call, and first I will quick recap on the basic customization which we discussed in the last community call. And in today's session, we will be talking about API Manager React Portals advanced customization. So which is the part two or the second part of this series of customizing the API portals. In under that topic, I will discuss about React application build process in the API Manager portals, and there we'll go through the presentation components and data component differentiation layers, and then move on to the how this advanced customization work, where basically the structure of this advanced customization, and will be followed with a demonstration on how to customize API create page. So in the demonstration, I will customize the API create page and show you how to do the advanced customization, and there I will highlight how you can use existing implementations in your custom code. And finally, we will have an open discussion on questions you have on the API manager or in this specific topic. So, okay, so let's move on. So, first, I will do a quick recap on our previous session, what we discussed in our previous session. So, this is our like final result on the customization on from the basic customization. So, we have changed the logo, and we have changed the color theme, and we have changed the global button colors, and then also we have customized the login page as well. And so they are in that session we discuss about the portal structure and how the basic theme works. Then we did a demonstration on customizing the login page and customizing the dev portal. So if you miss the last session, you don't need to worry, because I will mostly will brief the concept before like going into the demonstration. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. So API Manager React Portals Advanced Customization. Start discussing on this topic, I will first go through the build process. So as you all already know that in API Manager 3x or from 3.0 onward, we have revamped our UIs to using the React library. And with that, we have bring the React and the new JS build process and the ecosystem. And now we are using these tools and libraries to build the UI portals. So these are the one of the major tools and libraries we are using. We from 3.0 onward, we are using Learner as well. So Learner is a package management system. It's basically used for internal package management, rather than going through npm global repositories, we can do internal wiring and get the packages shared within the repository. So from 3.0 onward, from 3.0 we are using Lerna for um, managing the dependencies within the project and within the product, and between different packages. And also we are using Webpack for as the bundler. And last time in the basic customization, we didn't use Webpack much. We only changed the default theme and did the customization. But in this time, in the advanced customization, we will be using the Webpack, and specifically we will be using a Webpack loader to load the custom source files. And of course, we are using Babel as for the transpiling the source code from JSX, the modern ES6 syntax, into the browser compatible version. So those are the tools and libraries we are using in the API Manager React portals or the UI portals. So then let's move to the React component structure. So we have mainly divided our application into two components or two layers. First is the React component layer. So there we have it contains purely the React code, basically React components, and we have used an alias called components to locate these React components. So I have highlighted it in here because I will be using this in the demonstration, and I will show you how you can use this existing components or the component that are coming from the original source in your customization. And and then we have this data layer. Basically it contains all the data and the all the other non-react based logics in this data layer. So for example, authentication, authorization, and we have defined this um, API client for making the API call, REST API calls through this Swagger.js, and we have this user management files, and then some other utility files and others. So basically, you can use this with even with your own projects. Like no need to be a React project, but you can use this in any other JavaScript framework. For example, if you are implementing a custom portal for API Manager, for WSO2 API Manager using Angular, so you can basically use this data component in your application to do this operation like authentication and authorization, and you can use this component for do the API calls and user management and other things. So again, like the React component, we have for the React components, for the data components, we have defined a Webpack alias called app data. So uh, like the React component, you can use this alias in the customization, and I will show you in the demonstration to implement your custom logic basically. So you don't need to repeat, or you don't need to copy this file into custom folder and use it. You can just use this alias and import the files, import whatever the data files that you require, and use them in your custom code. Okay, so let's move on to how advanced customization works. So if you so this I have explained this diagram in the previous sessions. Yeah, I didn't put this override component in the diagram. We only have had this default theme injection mechanism. So now here I have modified the diagram including this overriding concept. So now this diagram shows the entire process of building from the source code to the final the browser runtime environment, how the app get delivered. So first we have this JavaScript and HBS and CSS, these modules and the like raw files, and then we use Webpack to bundle them and transpile them and bundle them into static files, like set of static files like JavaScript and CSS and these kind of static file, which then with the user's request we deliver, or we send them to the user's browser, and from in the browser then the React page rendering happens. So in the last time, the basic customization, we didn't like use any bundle process, or we didn't trigger the bundle process. We just use the like pre-built application, and we change this default theme JS, this configuration file, and then we use this default theme JS to do the customization. In the advanced customization, the difference is now we are using this bundle process to inject our override or inject our custom uh, source component into the final bundle static files. So yeah, so that's how this advanced customization works. So in the during the bundle process, you can inject your custom implementations into the source files and into the final bundle, and get the static asset generated through the Webpack. So now let's move on to the demo. And now I have started the API Manager server, and now I have this API Manager server running. So I'm using the same server that I have used in the previous session. So you can see that uh, the basic customizations are still there. So let me log in. Sorry. Okay, now the scenario that I'm going to demonstrate here is, now suppose you need to add an additional input in this API create form. Like obviously you can't do that with the basic customization. You can do like predefine. You can change the predefined extension point, but we don't have extension point to add this add an input to this form. And also you need to obviously handle some data input logics, and so you can't do that with basic customizations basically. So the scenario is, now suppose you want to add a new input field here to accept GitHub URL for this API. For, for so you- so your API developers might need to share the some sample code or some some resources with the consumer. So you can ask input from in this form when you are creating the API. So I will show you how can add a new input field to this API create form. Okay, so let's go to the distribution. So now I'm using the API Manager 320 320 distribution. So now this is what you get once you unzip the distribution zip file. And let me go to the repositories, deployment, server, Jaggery apps directory. So this is where we have this is where you get the UI portals. So this is the location. And now like unlike in the previous versions, now you can see, if you navigate to, like if you browse to this location, you can see that learner JSON and this package JSON file are included in here. So these are there because as I said earlier, we are now using learner to share some UI components between publisher and the dev portal. So now from this 320 onward, you first need to run learner bootstrap, and then install the dependencies of these UI portals first, and then you have to run the build command. So let me first install the dependencies for this learner package. Um, so this will basically install the dependencies for learner, and then we can run the learner bootstrap to install the internal or the local dependencies. Okay, and then I will run this npm run bootstrap command. So this command will install the internal dependencies. So let's so I have already opened this publisher project or the publisher portal, and if you open the publisher portal, you can see a folder structure or source structure like this. So we have this node modules folder. Like when you install the dependencies, we get this node modules directory, and we have this override directory. So this is where like we going to put our customizations. And then we have these services for managing, like backend services for managing the authorization and authentication flows. And then we have the site directory where we keep our the static files mostly uh, in this site public directory. And then we have this source folder where we have the where we have the portal source files. And then we have this ESLint configuration and ESLint runtime configuration and ignore files for the QA and the to maintain the code quality aspects. And we have this npm runtime configuration and Babel configuration, and basically I have explained these things in the last session. So in today's session, we will be most of the time working on this Webpack configuration, and we will have a look at this configuration and this loader, the implementation. So to start with, I will first run the uh, development build. So you can do it by executing npm run build dev. Sorry. So this will trigger a development build in Webpack. So it will keep monitoring on the file changes, and will build the files will build the app continuously. So while it is building the app, I will show you how this Webpack loader is used for overriding the original source file. So here we have defined some set of rules, Webpack rules, when building the app. So there we have defined this test scenario, this test pattern, and we are using the Babel loader and also this custom loader. So this custom loader is the one who is actually injecting the custom source code into the build process when running the Webpack build. So if we move to this loader, so basically I will just like brief the implementation. So what we are doing is we are actually when running the Webpack build process, this loader get executed or get triggered for every matching files of this pattern. So if any file match with this pattern, basically this loader get executed. And when so this pattern will be matched like from the entry point until the app get until the entire app get built. So for each file we will be looking for the for the similar file in this override source directory. So for example, when it is building this source, this component, for example, let's say this logout JSX file, so it will match this pattern, so this JSX pattern, and then we'll trigger this loader, and from that loader we will first look at a file with, we will first check for a file in this override source, that exact folder path from this override source directory. And if we found any file in that directory, inside this override directory, we will replace the original source content with the one we found in this override source directory. And then we will continue, like we will return that override the content of this override source directory file to the build. So in that way we are injecting the override source files into the build process while the Webpack build is running. So now let's go back to the UI. Now as I explained earlier, now what I my objective is to add a new input parameter to this form. So to do that, first I need to know what is the React component that is rendered in this particular form. So to find that, we can use like multiple method. One is we can use this React dev tool plugin. So like they have this plugin for Chrome and Firefox and most of the major web browsers. So we can use that plugin and explore this component hierarchy and get the component name. So now this dev build is completed. So let me refresh the page. Okay. Now if we explore this component hierarchy, from there we can identify so what are the components that involved when rendering this particular page. So here now in this hierarchy, actually like let me go back. Okay, we could like select randomly select like any input, and then it shows this component hierarchy. So here like if we are not familiar with these components, so we don't know which component is coming from like original source or the WSO2 code, and which are coming from libraries and like that. So for that, to identify the WSO2 or the application source files, we can click on this any component, and we can go to the source from here, and there we can see whether this particular source is loaded from node modules. Basically, if the file is coming from node modules, that means it is an external library, or whether it is coming from source directory, source slash ser sorry src app, so like that. So if the path is in the source, starting from the source src, that means this is coming from original source or the application source. So like that you can so that is one way you can find these relevant components. And another way is you can uh, just trigger some network calls, like you can go ahead and create an API, and then you can monitor the network panel, and from that you can identify which component triggers this network call. So to identify that, you can go to initiators, and you can examine this stack trace, and identify which component has triggered this network call. So again, same method, like you can go like hover this stack trace, and locate a source file that is starting from the source src, or not from the node modules, because node modules component are coming from external libraries. So in that method also, we can locate this API create default, this particular source code. So then we know that okay, this network call has triggered from this source. And another way is you can use this browser debug tool, and use this event whistle breakpoints, and again you can black box the unwanted like debug points, and find out the component. But I think the easiest way is using this React dev tool. So now we know that okay, we want to override this component behavior. Sorry, it is this one. Okay, so now we know that we want to override this component behavior. Basically, we want to override change the UI that which is rendered from this API. Sorry, not that one. I think API create default, this one. So from one of those methods, you can locate the component that you want to override. Now in this case, so this API create default is the component that I want to override to change the rendering behavior. So then I will note down this component, and go to the source code, and I will locate it by searching API create default. So okay, so now this is the component that I want to override the behavior. So what I will do is I will copy the relative part from here. Now this I have opened this project from this package.json as the root, like maintaining the package.json as the root. Now I will go to the overrides directory, and create same directory structure from that directory. So I have to remove this source, because what we are expecting here is directory from this src level. So I have removed that source from the beginning, and in here I will create this directory structure. So if I refresh the page, okay, now we have override source app component, so this directory structure. Then I will copy this original source. You don't need to copy, but like if you want to like completely change the implementation, you can write your own code. But since I'm going to just add a new parameter, sorry, add a new input element here, I will okay. So since I'm going to do is just add a new input element here. I will just copy the existing implementation and add just that input element. So I will copy the source from here and paste it to this override directory. And for to show this to just give a brief idea of how this works, I will just change some CSS in this file. Yeah, I will put some style drops here. Let's do it. And so ideally, like yeah, so when we start the build in the development mode, so the changes you are doing in the override folder also picked up by the development, like the Webpack plugin, and it will trigger a rebuild when you make a change to the file in the override directory. So refresh it. Okay, so now the background changed to red color. So this is basically how this overriding mechanism work. Now, like here after it just React and the JavaScript, like you can implement anything that you want here, and like it will get reflected in the application after building it. So for for this demonstration, I actually prepared this custom API create default file. So let me compare it with this file and show you how it. So what are the changes that I have done in the custom implementation? So now this is the copied one, and let me compare it with this custom one. So in this custom file now you can see that I have imported this text field component from the material UI. So basically the idea here is you can import anything that we have defined in our that we have like defined as a like use as a dependency in this package JSON. If you need to add any dependency, you can do that as well. And another thing I want to highlight here is this APP components and APP data aliases. So in your custom code, still you can use these aliases in your custom code. And so now since I have copied it from the original source, these imports were there, but if these were not there, you can still import components from the original source by using this app components and app data aliases. So app components refers to the components that are in this components directory, and app data refers to the data definitions or the data files that are defined in this directory. And then what I what a change was this I have added this particular this like property to the state, and then I have modified the API payload to include this GitHub repo additional property. And then I have insert this uh, no, this just style changes, and I have insert this text field to uh, to add that new input field to the form. Okay, so let me copy this custom code into this directory. We'll remove this one. And okay, right now refresh this again, and okay, now we have this new input field. requesting this requesting the GitHub URL. So I will create an API now. So then I will use this URL as the GitHub URL here. Okay, now I will create and publish the API. So now since I have modified the API request or the API request that is API payload that is being submitted when click on the create and publish action. So if I go to the properties now, so you can see that this new property or this additional property is added to this API from the from that API create form. And now if we go to the dev portal, um, so you can see that still that basic customizations are there. And if we go to dev portal and check on here to get the social icons, actually you need to enable the social you need to activate the you basically need to enable the social feature in the dev portal. So once you enable it, and if this API has, or if the API developer has provided the GitHub URL, so you will get this GitHub icon here, and now you can click on it, and it will navigate you to the that particular URL that you have given when creating the API. So so that is how, like you can customize any UIs or any like data handling logic, or if you want to add new parameters to, or add new input to a form, or like basically you can follow the same concept in any component to change the view and the behavior of the application. So yeah, so if you have any questions, or if you like to do like suggest like if you like to make any suggestions now, you can unmute and have a discussion.
There's one question in the chat.
No. When release a new version, no. Uh, you don't need to like write the customization again. Basically, we will not put, or we will not touch anything, or we will not add anything to this override directory. So you can like smoothly merge your existing customizations into the new. Like if you take a one update or like something like that, then you can. Like smoothly merge your customizations into the new pack without any issue. But with the version changes, these component interfaces, like properties could get changed over new
Yep.
versions. So in that case, you need to like like revert to the original implementation, and then change your customizations accordingly. Unless the like React component interface, like the properties that we are accepting, and yeah, the properties that we are accepting in our component get changed, you can like just copy the customization and build the app, and then you are fine. Like, your
Yeah, got it.
customizations will be there.
Great. And another question. Can you hear me there?
Yes, I can hear you, Vasant. I think Kasun,
Yeah.
that's a question. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and see, for example, this customized interface or customized product, can we deploy to uh, our customer without any issue or prior approval or something?
Yes, of course, you can. Like we have also like we have integrated jest and like this testing framework also. So
Mhm.
you can even run, yeah, like you can, like if you want to verify your customization before deploying it to a production, like you can write test using jest, and then you can run them before deploying. Like other than that, I don't see any like limitation or anything uh, like preventing you from deploying this to your environment, like to production.
Okay. I mean, not say, for example, our company, like we have our own customers. So when we deploy the solution to
Uh-huh.
them, we can customize and deploy it, correct?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Kasun, there's one more question on the chat.
Will this customization work for API 2x versions? No, Deepak. These customization will not work on 2x version because in 2x version we have used jaggery for rendering the UIs. So from 2x to when we come like came from the 2x to we have done a major revamp on this UI technology. Like basically, it's 2x we use a server side rendering mechanism, and here like this is a fully client side application. So you can't use these customizations in 2x versions. Uh, Yeah, so we have another question. Before we deploy to production, these customization can be tested. Do we have any documentation for testing or platform? So as I mentioned earlier, like we are using Jest framework for like we have used this Jest framework for implementing the test cases like test scenarios. uh, so you can basically follow the documentation of this Jest framework to get an idea. For some other custom or the WSO2 specific one, we have this README file basically. So how we have implemented this test and what are the tests we have and prerequisite and how to run. So this is a basic guide and some troubleshooting tips. So you can find it in this test directory. So other than that, actually we don't have documentation, and I don't think like we should have a documentation because we are simply using the existing framework to implement the test, to run the test. Yeah, so combine, so with this readme and the official just documentation, you should be able to like implement test on your customization. Yes, Vasanta. So question is, do you have this kind of sessions for IoT server and other products as well? Yes, we have. Like for IAM product, identity and access management, we have community calls. I think it's also every other week. And IoT server, I'm not quite sure like how like how they conduct community calls. Um, yeah, I can check that and let you know. Like so Vasant, if you have subscribed to our Slack channel, you can like you can ask the same question, and I will get back to our team and get answer on this IoT server. Other than that, for IAM, yes, they have community calls every other week.
Okay, cool. Because we are implementing IoT server these days, so it would be help our guys if our guys can join the session. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I think we can wrap up the session for today. So yeah, so the next session will be on the 17th of September. So this is not the next week, but the week after next. And feel free to make your suggestions on next community call from this website, like this URL, community wso2.com/community/API-manager, and you can join with our Slack channel on this apim-slack.wso2.com, and you can follow us on Twitter, and you can send us mail on dev@wso2.org, and you can find about more on our product from our YouTube channel, WSO2 API Manager, or if you just search for API Live, and you could find our YouTube channel. And thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you.